In the last video I did addressing Matt Powell, I called him a liar, because he's a fucking liar. Well, today, I'm going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that not only is he a liar and did he lie in his movie, Science Falsely So Called, but he completely misrepresented me. What is up, you heathens and demons, you beautiful, blasphemous people? Welcome back to The Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and today I've spent a lot of time going through Matt Powell's movie and our interview together to show that he blatantly lies, blatantly makes dishonest cuts, that Matt Powell is a liar. And this doesn't come as any surprise. But before we get into it real quick, I just want to say that since Matt Powell can do this to me, I can do it back. But I'm going to do it, that's not in a disingenuous way. I'm just going to show me crushing the kids. And I've got enough clips to do about 3 videos of that. So coming soon is going to be a series that I'm going to call, and it's going to go in my Dancing with the Devil section with the rest of the Matt Powell videos. But I'm going to call this series, That Time I Made Matt Powell Look Stupid. So like I said, you know, I'm doing part 2 of Science Falsely So Called, and I get to the part to where I can really show the dishonesty. I can really show Matt Powell's just lack of character and how he's lying to his audience, how he's lying to anybody that's going to watch this movie, lying about me. Now, I want to get out of the way that I come from a different era than Matt Powell. You know, I'm 41 years old. I was raised in the South. I was raised in North Carolina. And where I was raised, if you lied about a man, well, you had to trade some hands with that man. You know, that's just how it went. Now, back then I was a Christian and I was a conservative. I was a different person. Now I'm a liberal atheist. Now that I don't believe in God, I don't really believe in violence unless it's absolutely necessary. So I'm not going to go kick Matt Powell's ass for being a liar. I'm just going to show him to be a fucking liar. That's what adults do. You know, I gave him a chance. And my whole agenda going into that conversation was to give him a chance to prove his honesty, prove that he's a good Christian man. But all he proved was that he's a liar and a con artist. And we're going to get right into it. In this first clip, I'm going to be using all the clips from part 2 of his movie, all the clips on me. I'm not going to deal with anything else, just me. And in this first clip, he's going to do that old Ray Comfort trick, right? He's not going to give you the full context of my answer. He's just going to give you just enough to make me look stupid.
Your position is that the world created itself, correct?
I think I'm an offshoot of the universe. We're all offshoots of the Big Bang.
The second law of thermodynamics states that ordered things go towards disorder.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I think I had him right out the gate here. I thought at first that he cut that answer in. But he didn't. He just didn't give you the full context, which I'm going to do right now.
So do you believe like in the theory of evolution? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So like why? I guess my question would be, well, let me first tell you where I'm coming from. I believe that God created the world. Yeah. I believe that there's only 2 worldviews. Either one has to believe that somehow God created the world, like I would hold to, or you'd have to hold to another faith position, which is the world created itself. Your position is that the world created itself, correct?
No. I think I'm an offshoot of the universe. We're all offshoots of the Big Bang.
Right, but what you're saying is you believe natural causes brought about themselves.
I think there's a plethora of possibilities about how we came to be here. None of us know. There's no way to know how we came to be here. So whether we created ourselves, whether we came here, we've always been, who knows? I don't know.
So there, he gave you a couple things. He gave you the context of our entire conversation right there, because in the entire conversation, he's talking in absolutes. And I'm going to give you an example before we move on to our next clip of his absolutes, so bear with me on that. You'll get that. But, you know, he's talking in absolutes, and then he clips it right at a part to kind of show me to be kooky, to be mystical. Oh, the universe, I'm an offshoot of the universe, I'm an offshoot of the Big Bang. But then taking into the whole context of what I actually said, nothing kooky at all. You know, if you subscribe to the Big Bang Theory, then you think you're an offshoot of the Big Bang. I subscribe to the Big Bang Theory, so I believe I'm an offshoot of the Big Bang. Not kooky, but in the context that he cut it and made it look like that is the dishonesty. But I spoke of absolutes. Matt Powell, through the whole conversation, both conversations that I've had with him, speaks in absolutes. It's either this or that. It's black, white, there's no gray. And throughout the whole conversation, as I've said in previous videos, he's going to these absolutes, and I'm a creative person. I'm a writer. I write fiction. I create fictions constantly in my mind. So he's coming with absolutes. My natural instinct is to just start shooting out anything. Anything. Now, you know, a lot of people make out what I said about there's a theory that we came from the stars. That's not crazy. There is a fucking theory that humans came from the stars. There are still missing gaps in the fossil record. We still can't understand how we came to be from hominids to modern human beings. We can't understand that. And there's theories around that. Now, I'm not saying I believe any of these theories. I'm just shooting out different possibilities. And then I'm creating different possibilities in my brain as well, because fuck your absolutes. No, there's a plethora of possibilities for any given situation. That's what us human beings do. We're imaginative creatures. We can create things, and usually the things we create eventually will become reality. All you have to do is look at science fiction. All you have to do is look at how long ago they were talking about cloning or having, you know, voice chats on a, you know what I'm saying? Like 20 years ago, these cell phones was science fiction. Cloning was science fiction. You know, DNA was science fiction. So often what we create with our imaginations becomes reality. But when he's speaking in absolutes, well, I can shatter your absolutes. And that's really the trap that he led me into, and I fell into it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that's what he wanted, so he could edit me dishonestly. But it's so easy to prove his dishonesty. Because, you know, even though he tried to get rid of all my footage, even though he tried to sabotage my equipment, I got 2 out of the 3 major segments that we had. And I actually got 4 out of 5 segments. So I think I did pretty good at covering my tracks. Although he did manage to get rid of 1 segment. We're going to talk about that later in this video because it's in this part. I don't have this footage. And if Matt had any integrity, he'd give me this segment. He'd send it to me. Oh, I'm not lying. Here's that full segment. But I'm going to prove that he's lying with our next clip. But before we get into our next clip, I spoke of absolutes. Well, let's show you throughout our conversation how Matt spoke in absolutes. And I think I might give you a couple times that I combated his absolutes. I don't know. We'll see what I put in this.
There's been...
Because here's the thing, there's only 2 options. Either you go with the option that says, okay, the tree stood there for millions and millions of years.
Not necessarily. As I said.
So do you believe like in the theory of evolution? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So like why? I guess my question would be, well, let me first tell you where I'm coming from. I believe that God created the world. Mm-hmm. I believe that there's only 2 worldviews. Either one has to believe that somehow God created the world, like I would hold to. Or you'd have to hold to another faith position, which is the world created itself.
There's been...
Because here's the thing, there's only 2 options.
I can look at it and see, you know, that any number of things could have happened.
I guess my question is, you could do one of 2 things at this point. You could claim ignorance and say, I don't know how it got there, or you could, you know, you could submit your idea of how you think it got there.
I've already offered him one very plausible explanation of how it got there, and it's pretty much the same thing you're saying, but history shows that happened 50,000 years ago, the last time the waters rose that way.
Here's the thing, how do you have any sort of basis outside of God? People ask me all the time, they say, oh, you know, how can you special plead God? I always tell them, you special plead no God. Because here's the thing, when it comes to morals, without God, there is no morals.
You're wrong about that.
Okay, where do we get our laws from? How do we determine what is right and wrong?
We just always have.
Let's talk about the origin of life. Obviously, for evolution to be possible and for things to come into being with such precision, it would take a decision.
All right, so there you had Matt speaking in absolutes, and the whole conversation, I'm combating that, which was his trap. He wanted me to do that. He knew what kind of a person I am. All you have to do is watch enough of my videos. You know that I'm a creative person. I talk about my creativity. You lead me down a trap to use my imagination to combat what you're saying, I'm going to fucking do it. And he made me look stupid. But it's easy to combat. Now, everybody that thinks that the Raging Atheist is stupid now isn't going to see this shit. Well, hopefully most will. We can hope, right? All right, so now we're going to get into a blatant lie, a blatant edit. So as you're watching this next clip, try to pay attention to Matt speaking, and then once Matt speaks, try to see the cut. You can see it if you're paying attention. And then I'll speak, and I'll answer. And then I'll play the part in our conversation that proves that he edited to that. And then if you don't quite catch it, we'll play that clip again afterwards.
You have to accept by faith that 1 out of 100,000 million chances happened. And that's just the beginning. So you accept by faith that happened by chance, correct?
The universe shoots us out. The universe has a mind of its own, and it creates life. It creates galaxies. It creates individual systems for life to expand. It could be a number of things.
All right, so hopefully you guys saw the cut. Now let's see the real conversation.
But there's only two possibilities. Either God created the world or the world created itself.
No,
Well, then give me another possibility.
The universe shoots us out. The universe has a mind of its own, and it creates life. It creates galaxies. It creates individual systems for life to expand. It could be a number of things. To say that there's two possibilities is a fallacy.
Okay.
All right, so there you have me responding to Matt's absolutes, not the question from the movie. I'm responding to an absolute, and I'm shooting out possibilities. And he's going to take that and make it look like I answered a question with some fucking irrelevant answer, making me look stupid. And I've seen some of the criticisms. You guys, look, he's lying to you. I just showed you that. But in case you didn't see it, watch it again. Watch Matt's answer. Watch Matt's question. It's not the absolutes he gave in the real conversation, but he edited in my answer.
You have to accept by faith that 1 out of 100,000 million chances happened. And that's just the beginning. So you accept by faith that happened by chance, correct?
The universe shoots us out. The universe has a mind of its own, and it creates life. It creates galaxies. It creates individual systems for life to expand. It could be a number of things.
So there you have blatant proof that Matt Powell is a liar, that Matt Powell is dishonest. He has no character. He's a little bitch. I called you a bitch, Matt Powell. I called you a bitch. You're a lying little bitch. Does that make you sad? How do you feel, Matt Powell, that it's so easy for me to show you to be a liar? I mean, you're in my comments still. Hopefully your daughter's doing good. You're still texting me, let's be friends. How does it make you feel that I think you're a douchebag fucking piece of shit liar?
Let's talk about the Big Bang then, because you say that the universe could shoot out here and energy could shoot over there. Since when do you see a Big Bang or an explosion creating anything? Have you ever observed that?
I'm not an expert on explosions. I'm not a computer.
I build computers like this iPhone down here. Like if I said, oh, I believe that iPhone came about by just an explosion, in a Mac store, you would look at me and say, you're an idiot. But that's the atheistic worldview, is that, oh, well, it could be anything but God.
The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good.
Do you believe that an explosion out of chaos produced order?
Out of chaos. Whoever said that an explosion out of chaos? From
1 out of 100,000 millions chances is chaos.
So you say.
All right, so on that last part right there was actually two separate clips from the movie. But they both deal with the same part of the conversation, so I put them together. And what you have here is just a classic misrepresentation. Now, if Matt was an honest actor, he would have given you my answer, or he would have given you the full context. He wouldn't have cut the scene to make me look like he stumped me. Matt Powell, the great debater, got the Raging Atheist. That's not how it fucking went down. Let's watch the real conversation.
Let's talk about the Big Bang then, because you say that the universe could shoot out here and energy could shoot over there. Since when do you see a Big Bang or an explosion creating anything? Have you ever observed that?
I'm not an expert on explosions.
Like for example, a computer. I build computers like this iPhone down here. Like if I said, oh, I believe that iPhone came about by just an explosion, in a Mac store, you would look at me and say, you're an idiot. But that's the atheistic worldview, is that, oh, well, it could be anything but God.
Well, no, I mean, we do know that explosions create different atmospheres.
I guess my question is, do you believe that an explosion out of chaos produced order?
Out of chaos? Whoever said that an explosion out of chaos? From
one out of 100,000 millions chances is chaos.
So you say. From what I've read of the Big Bang, it wasn't like this thing of chaos. It was an empty space that consisted of matter and dark matter. Matter touched dark matter and created an explosion.
So do you accept the mainstream idea of the Big Bang, where all of the matter in the universe was condensed in a period on a page, basically, in size?
I think that, as I've said, I'm not an evolutionary expert. I'm not a scientist. I'm an atheist. I'm a regular dude. I accept that the Big Bang is one of the possibilities. I also accept that I can't give you a definitive answer. I know this happened because I didn't exist. How long ago? 60 billion years ago? I wasn't there to see it. You weren't there to see it.
See? No, oh my God moment there, atheists. And I've been watching you guys. You're like, oh my God, how could he say that? I gave the perfect fucking answer. The perfect fucking answer. You can't give a better answer than that. And if you think that you can, well, you're full of shit because you don't fucking know. You wasn't fucking there. All we got is these theories. All we have, and I'm sure the science behind it has some pretty good evidence, but you wasn't there. And that's the only fucking answer that's true. All right, so that's misrepresentation. Now we're going to get to another blatant fucking lie. Another cut-in answer to a question. But this time, he's going to try to be smoother about it and cut to a scene of us walking up the stairs so you can't see the obvious fucking cut, the obvious deception. So let's check it out, the movie clip.
Let's talk about the origin of life. Obviously, for evolution to be possible and for things to come into being with such precision, it would take a decision. Obviously, the sun is burning down, the moon is getting further away, the earth is slowing down in its rotation. Somebody wound things up very precisely, and if any one of those quantities were tweaked at all, no life could exist.
See, you can say that there's design in everything. I'm not going to disagree with that. The universe could have designed itself.
Oh my God, raging atheist. How could you give that answer? Their answer makes no fucking sense. Maybe because that's not what I said in that context. Maybe it's because he put that answer there in that context. Just maybe. Just fucking maybe.
Obviously, the sun is burning down, the moon is getting further away, the earth is slowing down in its rotation. Mm-hmm. Somebody wound things up very precisely. And if any one of those quantities were tweaked at all, no life could exist. Yeah. So now let's talk about life itself. So life requires, for just one cell, it requires 30 mechanisms to be able to work. Now, if we stick those 30 mechanisms all together, let's say, for example, you and I went to a lab and I said, okay, we're going to throw DNA, RNA, and even some membranes in a can of soup. We're gonna put all this together, and these are things that contain life. These are what life is made of. This is what life is made out of: is DNA, RNA, and membranes. Mm-hmm. If I was to put all that together, it would not create life. And in fact, they've never created life. So let me ask you this.
So you're saying scientifically we've never created life?
Well, even if we did create life, wouldn't that mean there was an intelligence behind it?
Well, in that situation, yes.
Well, that situation would...
There you have it. Now, I don't have my answer because my answer is from the second segment that he managed to sabotage my equipment, and I did not get that segment. And I'm going to show you more examples of what I don't have, what's not in my conversation. I put everything I have in my my Raging Atheist versus Matt Powell video. That was all of my footage. So he managed to successfully get rid of one of my segments. that I couldn't cover. So I can't show you how that answer, what context that answer came from. But I did just show you that I did not answer with that answer. That it wasn't even a question. He kept talking. Check it out again.
Let's talk about the origin of life. Obviously, for evolution to be possible and for things to come into being with such precision, it would take a decision. Obviously, the sun is burning down, the moon is getting further away, the earth is slowing down in its rotation. Somebody wound things up very precisely, and if any one of those quantities were tweaked at all, no life could exist.
See, you can say that there's design in everything. I'm not going to disagree with that. The universe could have designed itself.
So, Matt, next time you come on my comment section saying how you've never misrepresented me, never lied on me, you're a fucking liar, dude. And you need to come to terms with that yourself. And you've been exposed. Everybody, except those crazy-ass cultists that are in your new IFB circle, knows it. All right, so for the last clip that I can actually have footage to combat, because the rest of what I'm going to show you is either from the second segment, which I didn't get, or just little parts that I don't even really need to combat. I'm just going to address because I've seen people like, oh my fucking God, over them. And I'm like, dude, it's obviously a cut. But this next one is just another misrepresentation. You know, he's just going to edit it to make me look stupid and not give you my full answer.
Let's say, for example, you and I went to a lab and I said, okay, we're going to throw DNA, RNA, and even some membranes in a can of soup. This is what life is made out of, is DNA, RNA, and membranes. If I was to put all that together, it would not create life. And in fact, they've never created life. So let me ask you this.
So you're saying scientifically we've never created life?
Well, even if we did create life, wouldn't that mean there was an intelligence behind it?
Well, in that situation, yes.
Well, that situation would have had to taken place at some point in history.
But I mean, there's...
So you're telling me there's intelligence that created life?
So there you have it. It looks like the great Matt Powell's intellect overcame the raging atheist, and he got me. He got me. Except, he didn't fucking show you my answer. I'll do that.
Obviously, the sun is burning down, the moon is getting further away, the earth is slowing down in its rotation. Somebody wound things up very precisely. And if any one of those quantities were tweaked at all, no life could exist. So now let's talk about life itself. So life requires, for just one cell, it requires 30 mechanisms to be able to work. Now, if we stick those 30 mechanisms all together, let's say, for example, you and I went to a lab and I said, okay, we're going to throw DNA, RNA, and even some membranes in a can of soup. You know, we're gonna put all this together, and these are things that contain life. These are what life is made of. This is what life is made out of: is DNA, RNA, and membranes. If I was to put all that together, it would not create life. And in fact, they've never created life. So let me ask you this.
So you're saying scientifically we've never created life?
Well, even if we did create life, wouldn't that mean there was an intelligence behind it?
Well, in that situation, yes.
Well, that situation would have had to taken place at some point in history.
But I mean, there's...
So you're telling me there's intelligence that created life?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that I have no idea what created life, and I'm not going to pretend to know, and I'm not going to force it, or
well, you could at least
say that
say.
I'm not going to say that you must dictate your life to this theory I have about how it all started. I'm not going to say that.
Well, at least you could say it's more plausible to believe in intelligence, because by your own admission,
I don't think so.
See, Matt didn't get me. I gave him the best answer I could give him at the moment, which was the right answer, I believe. I fucked this kid up in our conversation. Now, he got me a couple times with the polystrate trees. Didn't really know too much about it. He got it. He got me stumbling. And there I did look like a fool because I was ignorant. I'm going to study that shit. I'm going to study a lot. You know, I need to study these creationist arguments more, and I need to have an understanding that I don't need to go in shooting out possibilities because they're going to seize on that and use it against me, as they obviously have done. But I spoke of the second segment, and I've spoken in previous videos. Go to Dancing with the Devil. Check out all my videos on Matt Powell. You'll see me speaking about this, about how in this conversation, they kept fucking with my camera. and my camera wouldn't work, and I ended up getting what I got of our conversation on my fucking phone because they kept fucking with my camera. Now, my camera's not broken. It still works fine. I just need a memory card for it. But for some reason, during that conversation, my camera wasn't fucking working. And he did manage, I wasn't sure if he got a segment that I didn't get, but he did. Because there is footage in his movie that I don't have, that I didn't have to put into my video on our conversation. So here's a couple clips. We'll start with the first one.
Stephen Hawking said, and I quote, he said, if the expansion rate after the Big Bang would have changed by 1 part in 100,000 million millionths, nothing would exist. So let me ask you this, is 1 out of 100,000 million millionths with a bunch of zeros a great possibility?
No.
So you accept by faith that that came about on its own?
There could have been a universal mind pulling the strings of evolution. There could have been a universal mind that sprang us up just like that. 90,000 years ago, as the science would indicate. Maybe we came from the stars. There's a theory that we came from the stars and we just gave away all of our technology. We didn't want it no more and we started over, and yet here we are again.
But that takes faith, that takes irrational faith to believe that.
No,
that takes silly faith.
It takes an imagination to consider it.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
See, maybe I'm wrong, and I've been through my whole conversation, as you guys have seen. I went through it thoroughly. I have a bunch more clips from our conversation to make Matt Powell look stupid, because, I made him look stupid. If he can do it to me, I can do it right back, right? Only I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to cut it to make him look stupid, because he's just fucking stupid, all right? But I don't have that in my conversation. So he had one segment, and I should have known that because our conversation lasted for 4 fucking hours. 4 fucking hours. No shit. He'd do a segment. I go smoke a cigarette. I come back. Oh, I'm not ready to go back. It was a crazy clusterfuck. They were fucking with my shit, and I've talked about all of that. So let's watch the next clip, because I definitely don't have this one either.
A lot of times when you talk to evolutionists about this stuff, they don't even know what you're talking about, because they're not really even that well versed on these things. They really have a lot of faith in their professors and in the science books.
So in The Blind Watchmaker, Richard Dawkins said, and I quote, he said, the simplest life has the amount of specified complexity in it of over 1,000 complete sets of encyclopedias. So to me, saying that that came about on its own is like literally saying that this library that we're in came about by an explosion in a printing shop.
Don't have that shit either. Wish I did. Wish I could remember how I responded to that ridiculous fucking assertion. Sure, I crushed it. And like I said, Matt Powell, if you have any integrity, you'd send me that segment that I don't have. I believe it was the second segment of us actually sitting down in the library, not outside, and not my segment that we did. Me and you did 3 segments for your movie, for the conversation that I was going to have on my channel. I got 2 of those segments. You got 1 of them that I don't have. If you have integrity, you would send that to me. But you don't have no fucking integrity. I've already proven it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And in the last little bit of this video, I just want to go through, I'm going to put them all together. And these are, as I'm watching response to the movie from atheists, motherfuckers are going like head exploding over me saying this shit. When it's obviously taken out of context, it's obviously cut to make me look like I'm saying a specific thing. I've already shown you guys how Matt Powell was speaking in absolutes and how I was trying to combat his absolutism with a plethora of possibilities. So, you should be intelligent enough. And I'm not talking shit because I understand. If I was in that situation, I'd probably be talking shit too. So I'm not mad. I'm just saying that you guys should be smart enough to understand that Matt Powell's not genuine, to understand that he's not honest, and to just question, like, hey, where's the rest of the context for these statements?
When do you see a big bang or an explosion creating anything? Have you ever observed that?
I'm not an expert on explosions. See, you can say that there's design in everything. I'm not going to disagree with that. The universe could have designed itself. Maybe we came from the stars. There's a theory that we came from the stars and we just gave away all of our technology. We didn't want it no more and we started over, and yet here we are again.
But that takes faith, that takes irrational faith to believe that. That takes silly faith.
It takes an imagination to consider it.
Just imagine.
Yeah. There's 1,000 million different possibilities about how life got on this planet. This planet could have been terraformed by aliens. I think I'm an offshoot of the universe. We're all offshoots of the Big Bang. The universe shoots us out. The universe has a mind of its own, and it creates life. It creates galaxies. It creates individual systems for life to expand. It could be a number of things.
All right, so I've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Matt Powell's a douchebag and that he misrepresented me. But it's doing good. It's bringing people to my channel. I'm growing because of it. I'm getting exposure from the atheist community. Now, some of it's not the best exposure that I want for my fellow atheists to be introduced to me, but I would hope that they would be inquisitive enough to actually come and find me and make their own judgment based on my content, not based on the content of a con artist. As always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is The Raging Atheist. I'll be doing more Matt Powell content soon. That time I made Matt Powell look stupid is coming soon. Earl's coming soon. So if you like my videos, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share me on your social media. Comment in the comment section below. I'll see you soon.